First of all, multiple job offers in this economy must be nice. For a lot of people, especially if you're starting out in your career, you just gotta go with whatever crosses your path. In this video, we're gonna take a look at, 5 or 6-ish things that you should consider, when you're trying to choose between multiple job offers. Hopefully by the end of this video, that decision will be at least a little bit easier to make. Okay, intro. So all of the things I'm going to list in this video are important. Otherwise, I wouldn't be, talking about them. However, I am going to list them in order of importance, in my opinion, at least. If you do disagree, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. So the first thing you should consider, it should be the most obvious thing. I mean, that is why we're working, first of all, and that is your salary. I have said this before, and I'll say it again. The sole purpose of working is to get paid. You need to know how much you're worth. Otherwise, how are you gonna know if you're being underpaid or whether an offer is a good offer, that kind of thing. So do your research. It's not always easy to do this research because people don't like talking about how much they're getting paid. But use platforms like Glassdoor, PayScale, all these review sites and stuff. Just have a good idea of how much you should expect to get paid for somebody in your position, for the years of experience you have or don't have. If a company is looking to hire a skilled worker, they're gonna have a salary range, okay? For example, let's say I'm trying to hire a developer, I'll have a range between 40,000 rands and 50,000 rands. And when I give you an offer, I'll obviously start at 40, just hoping that will be enough for you. And if you don't contest that, well, sorted. If you find yourself in a position where the company you want to go for doesn't have a good salary compared to like the other companies you have an offer, then you can actually reach out to that company and tell them that, hey, I see you offered me 40,000 rands here. Yeah, that's nonsensical. Okay, don't tell them that. Just tell them, hey man, I see you offered me 40,000 rands. I have other offers that are much higher than that. However, I would much prefer to work for your company. So, okay, so let's say, the salaries are somewhat comparable. Then the next thing you want to look at is the benefits and the perks. Something I personally did not pay much attention to when I started working because I just wanted a job, I was quite desperate. But anyways, so I've noticed that, especially with the smaller companies, the smaller startup companies, they have a lot less benefits compared to like the much bigger companies. So you might find that this tiny ass company is offering you like a massive salary of 30K. But this bigger company here is only offering you like 25K. So at first glance, it might make sense to go for the smaller one. But if you look deeper, you might realize that, hey, this smaller company here is giving me 30K, but there's no medical aid, there's no transport, there is no, allowance for your phone or whatever. Whereas the other company is offering all these extra benefits. They give you lunch at work and so on and so on. So that 25K, even though it's a smaller, deposit to your account, at least you have a lot less expenses, So after looking at the compensation package, your salary, benefits, and perks, the next thing you want to look at is, what is your job actually going to be like? What is a typical day at work going to look like at each one of these companies? You want to look at the day-to-day tasks for somebody in that specific role. Things like, the expectations they have for you. Do you have to write articles every now and then? Do you have to like be on call for support? Sometimes you have to have like a rotating schedule where at least one day a month you have to be on call for 24 hours. Is that something you're okay with? Now, staying on that job responsibilities tip, another thing that I really take seriously is the work-life balance. I am not a fan of working for free. I mean, if you're gonna expect me to work overtime, you better be paying me for it, Like, I don't mind occasionally staying in the office for like an hour extra or maybe 2 hours extra to finish off like some really important work, that kind of thing. But that should not be like a daily thing, okay? I don't want to be staying overtime in the office every single day. I want to have a life outside work, It's kind of hard to develop and grow outside work if you don't have a good work-life balance, Like I know, and it's unfortunate that it's not always easy to have control over this, especially if you're early on in your career. You're probably not in a position to be making such demands, you know, to not want to work overtime. If you're working overtime and you're not getting compensated, think about it for a bit. It's really messed up, eh? You are working to produce extra profits on your own time, uncompensated. So the next thing you want to look at after considering all these other options is the company culture and, you know, the working environment. Unfortunately, it's not always easy to, you know, to figure out the company culture and the working environment before you actually start working there. But you're gonna be spending around 1/3 of your time with these people, eh? Imagine if you don't enjoy working with them. It's gonna be a pretty horrible experience. So make sure to do your research. Look at those reviews on Glassdoor, Payscale, or all those other, you know, places. Look at LinkedIn. Talk to the people who are currently working there. Pay attention during those office tours. You know, you might realize that there's a very high proportion of a specific type of individual in this office. Why is that the case? And finally, you want to look at your career growth within that company. If you were to choose a specific job offer, where do you see yourself in 5 years, or in 1 year, or in 3 years? It doesn't mean that you're going to be working there for that amount of time. Does the company align with your career goals? Do you see yourself growing within that company? You know, maybe you want to be in a managerial position in like 5 or 10 years. Do you see yourself reaching that stage within that company, or at least is it a good stepping stone to get to where you want to get to? This is why it's important to ask questions during interviews. You must ask! Sometimes it might be worth, you know, going for a company that is offering a slightly less compensation, but they might have some really good benefits, or maybe it's a very good move career-wise, you know, so on. So like, even though I mentioned that salary is the first thing, it's not always the one thing you should go for. Okay, my battery ran out before I finish recording. Anyways, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section about what I've shared today. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to let me and YouTube know by leaving a thumbs up. And before you leave, check out the videos on the screen right now for more content, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, have a good day.